Once again, Honorable Minister and Senator and your esteemed delegation and South African delegation, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen of the media. We've just had a very, very successful bilateral meeting with His Excellency Minister of External Relations, Minister Nunes, accompanied by a very high-level business delegation that is currently meeting in their counterpart somewhere here in the city of Tshwane, Pretoria. We have congratulated Minister for his appointment, and we've also made a statement which we both concurred on, that just the fact that just a month or two after his appointment, he had spent so much time in our region. It's a political statement that Brazilians are the friends that we can depend on, that are seeing the future of the Africa we want, a rising, or Africa that is on the rise. And he is one of the very few ministers who spent time in South Africa, within this short period of time, that has visited Robben Island, but will also be visiting O.R. Tambo's grave this afternoon, besides spending time with me and also presiding over this joint business meeting that is taking place, because he's also a Minister for International Trade. We both, during our meeting, reaffirmed our strategic partnership between our two countries. Amongst other issues that we looked at is that indeed when we meet at multilateral fora, because we are both members of IPSA, of BRICS, of G20, of G77 plus China, of non-alignment movement, and so on, half the time Brazilians and South Africans are discussing issues international. So we have reaffirmed that we will be talking on how we continue to think globally
and
act locally. Meaning, when you see the Brazilian flag, you mustn't only be thinking of the soccer team. You must know that we do much, much more.
Much more. Yeah.
We have created the first new development bank, I say first post-Bretton Woods institutions, the new development bank formed by BRICS countries together. So we do just more than playing football, but football we should continue playing together.
Yeah.
He says we both love music, which is very much true. It's a fact of history. So people-to-people contact, it's very, very important for us. That's what we think will strengthen or further strengthen our bilateral relations. We will also be emphasizing on actual implementation of previous MOUs and agreements, bilateral be it in science and technology, be it in security sector, and many other avenues. And also strengthening the Mercosur-SACU implementation of the trade agreement, while we strengthen the fact that we now have a trilateral trade agreement of SADC, COMESA, and EAC. Beyond that, we also have launched the CFTA, Continental Free Trade Agreement in our continent, Africa. We have reassured and confirmed that we are indeed a growing continent.
hospitalidade calorosa.
I'd like to thank the people, the government of South Africa, and my colleague, Minister Mashabane, for warm hospitality. And for me, the pleasure of being here, people in South Africa, my first visit to the African continent during my tenure, and the opportunity for this bilateral meeting, which we've just been through, continue the cooperation and the significant progress of our bilateral relations.
O significado político maior dessa visita é a reafirmação do nosso compromisso político e a reafirmação de que a África e a África do Sul continuam sendo uma prioridade permanente do governo brasileiro.
The most significant aspect of this visit and of our meeting is the reaffirming of Brazil's relations with Africa and South Africa, and the reaffirming that Africa continues to be a priority in our international relations.
Tem razão a ministra quando enumera as diferentes instâncias multilaterais em que Brasil e África do Sul participam, sempre com posições muito harmoniosas.
The minister is absolutely right when she lists the number of multilateral stances in which Brazil and South Africa jointly participate and share a common opinion and a like-minded opinion.
Mas isso não impede que nós nos esforcemos para que a relação bilateral seja cada vez mais intensa e fecunda.
But that does not mean that we should not continue our efforts so that the bilateral relations remain intense and fertile.
A África do Sul é dos principais parceiros comerciais do Brasil no continente africano. O nosso intercâmbio comercial apresentou uma queda em relação a 2015, em razão das dificuldades econômicas por que o Brasil ainda passa, mas das quais nós estamos pouco a pouco saindo.
South Africa is one of Brazil's main trade partners in the African continent. In 2015, there was a slight drop of our international trade, which was a result of a complex series of economic difficulties which Brazil was going through, but we are slowly rebuilding.
Mas se nós pensarmos no prazo mais longo, constatamos que o nosso fluxo de trocas cresceu 227% nos últimos 16 anos.
But if we get a long-term view of the relationship, we will see that our international trade has increased 227% over the last 16 years.
Que mostra que os esforços que os nossos governos têm feito para incrementar o comércio bilateral têm uma sólida base para ir muito adiante.
Which shows that the efforts that both our governments have in promoting our international trade have a very solid base so that we can go even further on ahead.
Da mesma forma, as exportações brasileiras para os países do bloco composto por África do Sul, Botsuana, Lesoto, Namíbia, Suazilândia, avançaram cerca de 19% nos primeiros meses de 2017, nos 3 primeiros meses de 2017.
Brazilian exports
Em relação ao mesmo período do ano passado.
Brazilian exports in relation to the other countries of the Sahel bloc, South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, and Swaziland, have increased over almost 20% in the first trimester of this year in relation to what the value was in 2016.